What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 156 of The Rise to Glory, here with Gibraltar Apex, and today, well, it's time, isn't it? It's take two of a Champions League final. You're going to be sat there thinking, Jack, you're not suited and booted. I'm not. I'm wearing a Lewis FC kit. I feel like this might bring us some luck. Last final last year, the suit, it didn't play out for us. Trying something different. I'm not even a superstitious person, but I feel like we're going to need all the luck we can get going into today's game. It's going to be against Real Madrid. It's going to be a tricky tie, to say the least, in this final. If we just look at the past meetings between the sides, it's pretty even. I imagine it's pretty even. You can see here 2 wins and 2 losses for each team with an even goal difference as well. It really is tight between us. Of course, the one time where we beat Real Madrid when it mattered was in a knockout stage of the Champions League last year. So we have a little bit of a record against them, I guess, recently. But they have still a very, very good squad. Anyway, in terms of what's happened since that last episode, which was the Bayern Munich semi-final, which, well, Moscow scored the last-minute winner in, which if you missed, go check it out. I've told you how it ended, but it is definitely worth checking out. You can see it's been pretty standard. We've won all of our games, keeping all clean sheets. The Senior League Cup final was closer than I'd like against Manchester 62, but again, it's perhaps an indication of how they're improving. And where we also beat College Europa in the Rock Cup final. And what was quite good about this is that with the Rock Cup, there is £12 million in prize money. So we cashed in there. You can see we have £131 million in the bank. We've got a really hefty transfer budget, which is nice. And our wage budget is also pretty generous going into the summer. So time to strengthen the team if we want to, of course. So that's kind of what's been going on there. In terms of our team for today's game, we are pretty much at full strength, which is nice to be able to say. The only player missing through injury is going to be Junior, of course, our right midfielder. It means that Oliveira is going to come in out on the right-hand side, but the Brazilian going to be a bit of a miss for us. It's fair to say that he's been an essential part of our knockout stage kind of campaign. He's done a big job for us. And no, he is a player that we are going to miss. The player coming in to replace him, Oliveira, however, a very adequate player out on the right-hand side. He joined us for £12 million. There's talk of him maybe leaving next year, which I don't really want to sell him, but if he wants to leave for more first-team football, I might have to do that. I do feel like his complaints about kind of lack of first-team football are a little bit unfounded, if I'm honest. He's played a lot of games for us, so he's going to start today, a chance to prove himself, I guess. Looking at the rest of our team, in goal, of course, we go with Ludwig Jung, the Swedish keeper. He's been here before. A lot of these players have, of course, last year, because it is very much the same squad that got us to the final last year today. Anyway, at left back we go with Cabasele. Not a lot to explain there. The 25-year-old, obviously a mainstay of the Belgium national team at this point, of course, was out injured alongside Gaikonov earlier on in the knockout stages, but both these players have bounced back well, and obviously they're both fantastic fullbacks for us. It's worth noting that you can see here a lot of our players have been resting. Our cup finals all came within quite short succession of one another. So it was important to rotate the side, make sure they were rested up, and you can see that's kind of paid off for us. A lot of our players are kind of fit and raring to go in this game. Anyway, a centre-back alongside Mustafa, we go with Assad, of course. Jorge, a fantastic player. The kind of big transfer, really. £38 million we paid for him. He's always been very good for us, and he's had another very solid season with us this year. Alongside him, of course, Mustafa, 27 years old now, the Egyptian. This is his 10th season at the club, which is a really good achievement for him. Hopefully, he can mark it with a win, and who knows, maybe we will have a testimonial during next season's pre-season. Anyway, looking at the centre-mid partnership, I've elected to go with Thiago alongside Gilvan for today's game. Gilvan, of course, got some massive goals for us against Bayern Munich. And also he got one against Benfica, so definitely worth his place in the team. Thiago, a very good player. As I mentioned, Gilvan, number 17, and player to certainly keep an eye out on. He has one hell of a long shot, some great technique, very capable of, shooting and scoring, but he's also a good creative player as well. Great passing and great vision, and as a deep line playmaker, he really is an ideal player, and his athleticism as well kind of adds another dimension to his game that, well, deep line playmakers don't traditionally need. Anyway, at centre attacking mid, we go with Sebastian Girard, a much improved Sebastian Girard. He's improved a lot this year, the 22-year-old. He is a world-class player at this point. You can see the fans love him. He loves big games. He's fairly consistent. Hopefully he can turn up for the big game here today, the 22-year-old. As I said, he's improved a lot this year, and that is something that I really wasn't expecting. I did think maybe he'd peaked. You can see here really his finishing composure and his off the ball, the three attributes I've really been trying to kind of improve this year, and you can see they have improved. We even got a 0.6 improvement in off the ball, which was a really impressive raise at one point. But you can see it's just been lots of kind of steady progression over the last few years, which is really good to be able to see. And now with an off the ball of rounded up to 17, composure of 16, and his finishing of 15, he has the capabilities to really cause problems. And he's kind of shown that this year. 62 goals to his name is not a bad total by any means. Anyway, out on the left-hand side, Paul Smith, 28 goals this season for him, 32 years old, the club captain. Didn't actually play in the last Champions League final we reached. He came on, I do believe, off the bench against PSG. This year, he's had a very good year in the league, 15 goals and 13 assists. Looking at how he's fared in Europe, you can see 5 goals in 13 games. Certainly not a bad return by him. Out on the right-hand side, we have Fernando Oliveira, a player I've already talked about, and a player who I think can do a job for us. So we'll see how he gets on today. Going to be a bit of a test for him, I guess. And up top, we go with Mosca. Of course, had an injury-ravaged season, but fit for the final when it matters. He had that damaged cruciate ligament injury for 8 months. He then followed that up with a twisted ankle and then damaged his heel. He really has been unlucky this year, but he's put that all behind him, I hope. He's definitely kind of recovered fairly well as a player. His physicals haven't dropped off as much as I feared they might as a player who was out for 8 months. And despite his injury proneness, which only really has reared its head this year, when he plays for us, he is a consistent performer. He is a world-class player, and he does enjoy the big matches, and that is something that we need from him today. Anyway, in terms of the options on the bench, the first player, Yves Frigère. If he comes on today, it will be his last ever game for Gibraltar Apex. Of course, moving to Cardiff. A long-term servant at the club, deserves heaps of praise. Joined us for shy of £1 million. Definitely got that money's worth out of him. He's been a great player for us over the years. The next player we have on the bench, Aaron Skeffington, the Australian, hoping he can give a good performance. He's played very well this year, to be honest. He's really impressed me. He got 3 assists in 3 Champions League appearances, of course, was only registered to the squad during the kind of winter break, so he's done well when we've called upon him. Another option we have on the bench is Mini Mosca. If we want to replace Thiago, if we want to get in a slightly different defensive midfielder, we have the option with this guy. Recently been dropped from the Spanish national team, hasn't played as much football as perhaps he'd like to for us this year, but nevertheless the 22-year-old is a very useful player to have on the bench for us. Anyway, another midfielder we have is Joe Bouchard, 32 years old Canadian, been there, seen it all, got the postcard. I believe he started the last Champions League final. Today he will be on the bench. Of course, last Champions League final against PSG we played with a narrower system. Today it's the wider system. We're trying the 4-2-3-1, but of course we do have the option to kind of adapt between the two pretty freely. Anyway, we then have Volsky, another centre mid, a very good creative player. If Gilvan isn't quite getting the passes out, if we want to bring on some more creative players, we've got an outlet here in Volsky, 19 passing, 17 vision, some really nice physicals as well, certainly capable of coming on off the bench and kind of terrorising a tiring defence for sure. Anyway, the last 2 players we have, Clement Berger, the Frenchman, a player who perhaps hasn't played as much as I expected he would. He has got 2 assists and 1 goal in his Champions League kind of campaign this year, as well as 9 goals and 9 assists in 20 games in the league. He's capable of coming on and making a difference. If we need a goal-scoring outlet, he could be kind of the last roll of the dice, I guess you could say. And the last player we have on the bench, Walid Douz, kind of a victim of the fact that Mosca is fit and Girard is in fine form, but Douz, a very good player, can come in at the right-hand side or play as an out-and-out striker. If we're chasing the game, if we want to switch to 2 up top or Mosca gets injured, Douz is very much capable of coming into that position, stepping it up, and hopefully giving a performance to remember. So that's our team. In terms of players missing, we have not got a goalkeeper on the bench. Graphite, the left-back version, isn't around. Graph Right isn't registered. That's the case with a lot of our younger players as well. And Rildo just misses out by virtue of the fact we're playing the 1-striker system today. So anyway, that is the team going into today's game. I'm hoping we can give a good performance here. You can see here, Marco Guida is going to be the referee for today's game. This is being played at Benfica Stadium in Portugal, so a return to a happy hunting ground for us earlier on in our campaign. Looking at our reported lineup, they seem to think we're going to play a 4-2-3-1. That is also what is being predicted for Real Madrid, so we've got to bear that in mind. They have got a few players out with injuries, so that's quite nice. Worth noting though, they have got Daniele Russo out on the right hand side. And of course, Gary Monk is manager of Real Madrid here, which is still an odd one. Still can't get over that. Anyway, we're going to submit our team for today's game. This is a massive match for our history. We don't want to lose 2 Champions League finals. You can see here, Girard and Douz kind of topping the goal scoring charts. The only Real Madrid player we need to watch out for is Rokachev, who is an absolutely world-class striker. A player I'm going to be honest, I'm terrified about. He's a great player. He's in full fitness. 20 finishing, 20 composure, 20 off the ball, 20 anticipation. He's a poacher. And an advanced forward's kind of delight with those kind of attributes. He's a crazily good player, and it's going to be a tough ask for our defence today to shut him down. But anyway, I think we can do this. I'm hoping that we can, get something from this game. It's been bitterly disappointing this year, kind of thinking about the what-ifs of the last Champions League final. In terms of their team, we'll just have a quick look through their players. They've got Amengual in goal for them, a 21-year-old Spanish goalkeeper, not the greatest player. One thing that's worth noting is I brought Will Keane in as my new assistant manager. I actually did that kind of after the Rock Cup final. A late change, but Will Keane, a quality player to get in. Kind of weird to review an assistant manager who's been kind of signed on the day of the Champions League final. But he actually got Nottingham Forest promoted to the Premier League, winning the Championship. I was amazed that he had decided he wanted to be, what would you call it? That he wanted to be an assistant manager. We've picked him up. I think he's going to be a great pickup for the club, and hopefully he can obviously help us out today. Anyway, I've already talked about Angual. Let's look at the rest of their team. They've got Prince Asamoah at left back, a good Ghanaian fullback, very athletic, looks semi-good going forward. Yeah, hopefully we can catch him out a little bit. His work rate's pretty good as well, and the fact he's either-footed could cause us some problems. Right back, they've got Vermes. I'm going to assume it's Vermes because he's German. He is German. A great leader. Not the greatest physically, but he has good work rate. Maybe we can tire him out a little bit. Maybe catch out him with some big balls over the top because he's not particularly fast. As centre-back, they have Costa and Lopez. Costa here, Portuguese, 66 caps, an experienced international. And alongside him, Lopez, another experienced player, Spanish. Looks like a pretty good defence that they've got here. Anyway, moving up into the midfield, they've got Igor. I'm going to call him that. He's Brazilian, 152 caps, crazily good player. Really good defensively, outstanding mentals as well, a really impressive player. Playing at centre mid for them today, even though he's more naturally a fullback, but he's definitely a quality kind of defensive midfielder to have, and a player we're going to have trouble, I imagine, breaking down. The next player they've got is Dominic Grummel. He is a German playmaker, 30 years old again, looks very, very good, great passing capabilities. They've then got Kovacic, or Kovacevic. We'll go with that. That sounds good, doesn't it? He's German, 25 years old, great little winger on the left-hand side. Centre attacking mid, they go with Lawal, who's Nigerian. Looks like a pretty good centre mid, great determination, good physicals. Russo up top for them, and Rogachev as their out-and-out striker. We knew that this was going to be a tough game. The more I look at this Real Madrid side, though, the more I realise just how much we are going to be against the odds here. They're a great team, but we have beaten them. We've proven they're not unbeatable. You've seen their team. They've got some stacked players. They probably have a better squad than ours. But we're still going to go out there and just try and give the best performance we can here. I'm going to change the highlights to extended, with this being the Champions League final. But no, expectations going into this game, obviously, I want us to win it. Do I expect us to win it? Partially, yes, because we've got to this point. We need to defend well here from the start, though. Daniele Russo saved. I mean, that's not the start we want, is it? 30 seconds gone. Real Madrid flying away with it. I was about to say, I want to win. If we lose, I'll kind of understand and I'd be okay with it. But really, you can't get to a Champions League final and then go, yeah, not that bothered, really. I am bothered. I want to win this. This is not the start I wanted. Young, to be fair, made an outstanding opening save. Unfortunately for us, the second effort could not be stopped. That said, we do have a set piece here. Gerrard whipped him. Mustafa wins it. Assad with the header. We bite back immediately. 1-1 here. And the corner nodded on from the near post by Mustafa and his kind of partner in crime, our other centre-back. Assad, he's just got a free header there and he launches it. And the keeper caught slightly off-footed by the ball coming across his penalty area. Could not deal with that. It's 1-1. It's been an action-packed start to this game. And, we now just want to calm down the game if we can just a little bit. We don't want to let them score immediately. Rogachev, Young has made an outstanding save there. I don't know how he stopped that going in, but he's tipped it over. Now can we deal with the set piece? Mustafa heads it clear. Just end the highlight, please. We're on extended highlights. There's going to be pointless ones. This isn't a pointless one. Daniele Russo with a dagger through my heart. 5 minutes gone. We've had 3 goals. Absolute madness. Daniele, I made you who you were. I made you who you are. I mean, Young never should be being at the near post like that, but Daniele Russo, I feel betrayed. We've got another corner. Can we make something happen? The ball to Mustafa falls short. Real Madrid on the break here, potentially. We need to defend well. They've got so many men over. Rogachev hits the post, gets the What is happening? What is right? I feel like we just changed to the narrower system now. Oh dear, this is... I mean, what has happened? What has happened from this start, really? This has been absolute madness. Right. This is what we're going to go with. Paul Smith, advanced playmaker. Gibraltar centre attack in mid. Less than 10 minutes gone. There's been 4 goals, but they've not gone the way we want them to go. Real Madrid, they've been the better team in this game. They now have a set piece too. It's whipped in. It's saved. This is just embarrassing. Daniele Russo scores again. And to work so hard to get here and just to be stomped on in this manner. I mean, it's not even been like they've scored good goals. They've been a lot of set pieces. Young makes an exceptional save there. It's an unfortunate tackle, and it just falls into the path of our former man to tap it home. They've had 5 clear-cut chances, and we're 15 minutes in. This isn't the game that I wanted. And, I mean, what is happening? I mean, he scored a hat-trick. He scored a hat-trick against us. My old player... I mean, this is embarrassing. I don't even know what I could have changed. That's the worst thing. In fact, it's the fact it's been set pieces. I mean, that's an exceptional header, but... Daniele, I made you who you are. It can't get worse, can it? I mean, we're on extended highlights. Not every highlight needs to be a goal. Can we make something happen? Maybe. Interesting play there. Mosca, Paul Smith. Mosca, can we get it into the middle? We need a goal. That looked like a foul on Thiago. Thiago's probably going to get sent off. Gaiganov, whip it in. Girard, let's go. 5-2. I mean, we still have a chance. It's been a mad start to the game. 25 minutes gone. 7 goals. Didn't predict that, did you? Unfortunately, they've not really gone the way we want them to. But Gaiganov, nice ball in here. Girard gets a toe on it. Beats the keeper to the ball. Paul Smith celebrates like he's scored it. We have a lifeline. But look at the stats. Real Madrid have been in complete control. I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? It's really tricky. I feel like Real Madrid, if they get another 6-2, I don't think we can fight back. We need to, remain on the front foot now, though, if we can. Look at the stats. Real Madrid in complete control, you'd have to say, as I've kind of already said, and I'll reiterate again, they've been by far and away the better team. Daniel, he can't score a 4th, can he? Not yet, he can't. He puts it way wide of the mark in the end. We've got a lot of players on bookings. I need to have this team talk now. Show some passion, please, boys. No one's turned up. It's just been one of those games where, I mean, what can you say? It's just not been great, has it? Team hasn't showed up. Players look frustrated. Gaiganov, please don't get sent off. It's a yellow card right now. We need to deal with the set piece. Something that we've not really done this game, in truth. So this could be fun. Although the ball doesn't come in immediately. Can we apply some high pressure here? We can't. Cabasele, nice header. Now can we break? 5-3 at the break, and I feel like we have a chance. Paul Smith crosses it across. Gilvan, Moscas finishes it. Let's go. It's 5-3. What is happening in this game? This is madness. 8 goals. We're not even at half-time. And, well, the PSG game finished 4-1. I didn't think we'd have 5 goals again today. We've had 8. And it's 41 minutes gone. Mosca finished. We've had 3 shots. We've scored 3 goals. I mean, I'm going to have to change stuff at half-time, I think. I don't know how we've scored 3 goals. If I'm honest, I'm not sure how that's happened. I'm going to tell the players that I need to see something else in this second half, though. All of our players on bookings really does concern me. Cabasele's had an absolute mare. I'm actually going to bring on Skeffington at the break. Thiago's also had an awful game. I'm going to bring in Mini Mosca. In fact, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to change up these roles, I think, in midfield. I think that's what we're going to do. So we've brought on Volsky. I'm going to play him as a deep line playmaker on defend, and he can kind of act as our anchor man. I then want Gilvan to play as a roaming playmaker, and Oliveira to play as a centre mid on attack. I feel like we've got to go for this game, if I'm honest. I'm going to hold on to my last sub for now, although it'll probably be Dews coming on for Paul Smith. But no, 5-3, an interesting first half, certainly not the one that I wanted nor imagined would happen. Let's see if we can make something happen here. We're on the attack immediately. Why not? Let's dare to dream. Gaiganov, can you get the ball in the box? He can. Headed away by Costa. Always a pointless highlight to start the half. That said, we've still got a corner. The game wants to give me hope. Mustafa heads it. How's it not gone in? It's somehow gone wide. That was such a good chance. Cleared off the line. I think it got cleared against the back of another defender by Real Madrid in the confusion there. Giroud offside. That is the chance gone. I mean, I don't really know what's happened so far this game. It's been a bit of a mad one, really. Paul Smith's had a nightmare. I need dudes on the pitch, I'm afraid. I'm using a sub perhaps prematurely. If we get a sending off, we could be in trouble. Let's see what we can do. Volsky, the sub, flies over the crossbar. It was half a chance. An interesting effort there from range. Steven Gerrard-esque as it got laid off to the kind of deep-lying midfielder running onto the ball. Right, there's 20 minutes left. We need the next goal. Giroud on the attack here. He's marauding through. He puts it wide. At what point do I really start to go for this? I feel like we've kind of got to start going for it now, if I'm honest. So that is what we're going to do. Gilvan is going to come on and play as a shadow striker. Giroud is going to play as a complete forward on attack. Dues, be a complete forward on support. Why not? We've got to go for the game at this point, I feel like. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to play Oliveira slightly more defensively as well. Yeah, there's a chance here maybe for Real Madrid. It's going to be a corner. 19 minutes left in this game. Time is ticking away. At what point do I just kind of full-on YOLO it? We have a set piece here. Oliveira crosses it in, headed away. Volsky with the effort. Mosca hits the woodwork. Yaigl clears it. I mean, this has been one hell of a final, but we need something. We need a breakthrough. So many chances for either team. Oh, right. I'm going to have to go on overload, aren't I? I'm going to have to just change the tactics even more. We've got to full on kind of YOLO it at this point. And commit men forward and just see what we can do here. Pump the ball into the box, look for the overlap, hit early crosses, let's whip them in. Higher line, just close down as much as possible. We've got to play at the highest tempo we can. Let's see what we can do. I don't know when I changed to contain. I don't feel like I did that. Unless I'm going crazy. Either way, it's worked for us to get us back in the game. Right, Skeffington, please don't get sent off. That's not what we need right now. On a yellow. Right, 10 minutes. Set piece. We've not defended these well at all this game. It's a wasted highlight, though. 10 minutes left. We need a goal. We need something. Please make something happen. Someone. Give us hope going into the last 5 minutes. It's a set piece for Real Madrid. A goal now ends it. It's headed over. Can we make something happen? Big ball up, intercepted. We're committing a lot of men forward at this point. You can kind of see just a surge of players. Doos. Options inside. Switches it to Gaiganov. Can he pull it back? He can. Back post. Doos hits the woodwork. And it's so close. How many? We've hit the woodwork twice. Oh, it's been such a disappointing game. We're going to lose a second Champions League final in a row. It's turning into a curse. I feel like it's a curse at this point. The ball whipped in. Mustafa deals with it. Oliveira, Gilvan. We've got so many men forward. Mosca, can he thread it through to Giroud? He can't. He gets fouled. Volsky, it wasn't a foul at all. He got tackled fairly, Jack. It's going to end. It's 5-3 Real Madrid. They do have better players. They've shown their quality on the night. And unfortunately for us, they are going to go home victors here. So disappointing. A second Champions League final that we've lost. Daniele Russo with a hat-trick. Our former player. I mean, it was in the script, but I didn't want it to happen like that. I couldn't imagine it happening like that. That is so disappointing. I don't know how to feel. 5-3. I mean, it's an entertaining final, if nothing else. Real Madrid celebrate a double. 2 Champions League finals we've reached, 2 that we've lost. And we're turning into the Arsenal of Europe, basically. I mean, we get some nice money, but we wanted to win it. We wanted the silverware. Annoying. Disappointing, I think, are the 2 words that spring to mind. Don't really have a lot left to say this episode, if I'm honest. In terms of when we'll be back, I've got an end-of-season review, which I think I'm going to do. I'm not 100% decided on if I'm going to do one. I probably will do one, but it might be a shorter one than usual. Of course, we do have Euro 2036 to look forward to with Gibraltar, and actually the friendlies leading up to that tournament start in like 3 days' time. The actual tournament itself starts in a few weeks. You can see here we're in a group with Turkey, Croatia and England. So that's going to be an interesting group. We are by far and away the big underdogs. It's more so going to be a fun occasion, I guess, to live com us in the Euro kind of championships. We'll see how we get on. Probably going to lose every game. But no, I should be optimistic. We've reached a second Champions League final in a row, which in itself is an achievement. Unfortunately, being the runners-up, you don't get remembered. History doesn't remember the team that lost the final. And unfortunately for us, I don't want to say we've bottled it, but we should have done better. We fought back. We made the result more respectable. But the game was lost, I guess, when you concede 5 goals in the first 21 minutes, to be honest. But anyway, guys, hopefully you did enjoy today's episode. If you did, smash the like button, it'd be super appreciated. If you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below. If you've enjoyed the video, leave a like. And other than that, it is me, Jack. I'm disappointed, but I will see you guys in a bit. I'm out.